Endurance Squad is training with a holistic edge, plans for every kind of endurance athlete, plus yoga, mindset, and a team that's always in your corner. Join at yogitriathlete.com/squad.
And so calmness is what's going to bring you that clarity. And yeah, it's like, I think the work is just like watching those tendencies to force something along. And also just the inability to sit with uncomfortableness of the unknown, because that's something that's pretty easy to train.
As you're saying that, I'm thinking the benefit that, like, another benefit of just being calm when you make that decision is in that moment you're aligned. And so now you let your yes be yes. You decide, you make the decision, you go for it. Like, you go and see this thing through, because there will be countless moments of resistance, because the mind will fall to what's comfortable when something unknown, as Jess mentioned, pops up there, and the mind doesn't know how to work with the unknown. It actually craves known.
Welcome back to the Yogi Triathlete podcast. I'm Jess. I'm here with BJ. And we're here for another riff. We got lots of things we want to talk about. We keep talking about them, saying, well, let's talk about that on the podcast. Let's do a podcast. And now it's Monday and we're like, what are we talking about? But the first thing I want to talk about is I want to say thank you to all the new members in Endurance Squad. Super cool. You guys got inspired. Reached out to us, let us know that you were inspired by the last podcast, that we're like, hey, we got this pot of gold for you. Come on in. And some of you guys signed up, and that's awesome. Like, we're building this community. We have our February coaching call coming up this Thursday. And this is it. Like, it's here now. It's so cool. And it's like, it's not this thing that we're building. Like, it's done. It's ready for you. So come on in, cancel anytime. It's like, it's such a low commitment and low cost for, I think, truly a big pot of performance gold. But anyway, welcome, Beach. Thanks for being here with me.
So good to be here, as always. I really enjoy seeing like this Endurance Squad come to fruition, like all the years that we've invested in videos and capturing content, like endless content. It's all in this one spot finally. And everybody's, finding value in it, in each area of it, whether it's the yoga practices or the mindfulness meditation practices that are recorded. And also we've added Friday live flow for both communities. So for the one-on-one coaching communities that I coach, and for the Endurance Squad, which is our community coaching platform, we come together on Friday at 4:30 Pacific time and we flow together. Kind of like, that's like our roots. Like, we've done that for a very long time, and I'm glad that we picked that back up.
Yeah, it's super fun. I really like it. Like, during the day, I'm like, oh yeah, Friday flow, 4:30. Okay, I gotta like schedule my day and clients around it and everything. And then it's like, once we hit, it's the best 30 minutes of the week. I absolutely love it. And it's really cool, like bringing the two communities together. So I just envision like so many people on that flow with us every Friday. It's 30 minutes. And let's see, last week we started with some like restorative poses. Remember, to open up like all the muscles and the ribs. And then we did a little bit of flow. And sometimes we do a little bit of breath work. It's always like perfect. And we co-teach it. And it's very much created in the moment.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of,
it's how we were trained. It was how we were trained to taught.
Yeah, nothing's planned.
From the moment.
Kind of like why we've been at this podcasting for 10 plus years. We never have scripts. We may have some questions or things, but it all comes down to what appears in the moment and what we have been really just riffing on ourselves.
Yeah. I think that's like such a cornerstone of podcasting, though. Like, just to have an organic conversation. It really was kind of like the first medium that really launched these like organic conversations into the world. And I think from a bigger perspective, that's so important for us to experience these feelings of joining and belongingness, because isolation and not feeling a part of something, or not feeling a part of a conversation, or feeling something that you don't think anybody else is feeling, but in fact they truly are. It's like we need that communication. We need that continuity and senses of belongingness, because the isolation is terrible for us humans. You just told me something about isolation.
Isolation versus solitude.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love that.
So,
isolation sounds egoic, and solitude sounds like a choice. Like,
it's a choice.
I'm going into solitude.
That's it right there. You choose to retreat and put yourself into a place of just reflection and maybe restoring your energy levels, and then you come back out into the world, basically. But yeah, the other one is you don't feel like you belong, and you feel like you have no way out. when you're isolated. And I think there's a choice there, and I think
that's cool.
there's a powerful practice in solitude. I mean, I've just been working on this with a few athletes that they just want some time, like an hour of a day, like to themselves, and actually like without any music or sound, and just be able to train, get on the trainer or get on the treadmill and just be. But I also get the other side of it too. You step away and you're in solitude, but you want to come out and play. And even this weekend going up Palomar, I was all by myself mostly, and then halfway up, that new friend of mine, this junior elite cyclist, came up and we rode the second half together, and it was just enjoyable to have somebody there. Did you want to go more on the solitude and isolation?
Nope.
No.
Move on.
All right. Oh, what do we have next?
Done with that.
What can we talk about next? Do you want to see what we're training for? Or what we're working on? Why are you smiling?
No.
Okay.
Sure.
All right.
What are you working on? What are you training for?
Oceanside is 8 weeks away. The Ironman 70.3 Oceanside. And we've started running on the course on Sundays. So if you're in town or live here and listening to this and want to come get on the run course for some recon, I run it, one loop of it every Sunday at 7:30, 8 o'clock. We start at the furthest end on South Myers Street and the furthest end of the run course, and we run towards the pier and down towards the harbor. Yeah, just get a feel for the hills and the things to look for, and where you can pick up time and where you need to work on some mental cues, like when you're out there all alone at the furthest turnaround.
Pause right there.
Yeah.
What's a mental cue? What are you talking about?
Mental cues. So when you feel like you're all alone and you feel like this is so hard, how can you shift to pull yourself away from that? Because that's not helpful. That mind indulgence, that thought is not helpful to getting you back to the finish line quicker or as quick as you want to. So how can you hone in and focus the mind? Breath and mantra are good things. Be here now is such a good tool. When I'm at that furthest point and you make that turn on the second loop, you have 2.5 miles to get back to the pier. It is just on. So it's like, how can I focus on each individual breath that I'm taking? Be here now, be here now. And then I match that with breath. Be here now, be here now, all the way back. And then things start to fade away that were sort of distracting you or pulling your attention away from what you wanted to execute. So yes, that's what I'm training for is Oceanside. I have to say I'm feeling really strong on the bike, like really strong. And I'm not doing anything out of my wheelhouse, just doing the work. And
I thought you were doing stuff that you haven't done in a while. You were doing some...
I started it before Arizona.
Okay.
So it is relatively new. Just lower cadence more often for extended periods of time. And I was thinking about that going up Palomar on Saturday. This is the steady work, 90% of my FTP or 85% of my FTP, cadence of like 65, 70. And you're just like, just bones, not muscles, as Lawrence says, bones, not muscles. And an hour and 6 minutes later, I made it to the top of Palomar. Feeling good.
How do you balance, because you can't just do low cadence, 85% all the time. So how do you balance that so you don't get, what's the line between that being super effective and that being starting to slog, it's like, oh, you can do it. But
that's a good right there. If you're bouncing back and forth.
You should not be riding a bike like this.
But some low cadence work, so under 60 revolutions per minute, you may be like this. You may be trying to push the pedals. But as you get up into that 70 to 80-ish, you kind of can get into a groove of it's uncomfortable. The essence of what that is we're so comfortable at 85 to 90 revolutions because that's mostly what we will race at. But what happens when you slow it down? The body gets a little uncomfortable and then you start to shift gears. And what if you stayed in the gear, just sat with that uncomfortableness and see that as the opportunity? That's the work of building that compounding effect of repetition of pedal stroke after pedal stroke after pedal stroke. So then, to answer your question, I can apply that slog back and forth into the work I'm going to race at, which is obviously going to be a higher cadence than that. And it won't take so much out of my glutes muscles.
Because
you still need to run.
Yep.
Yeah, it all adds up, but it's quality work. So anyway, training for Oceanside. But before that, this weekend on Sunday, I'm racing the Kook Run. Supposedly the fastest West Coast 10K there is, but I think everybody claims that they're fast.
Not everybody claims it.
Not everybody.
It is
but
fast.
Some people do. It is fast. 75 feet of elevation.
That's awesome.
3.1 out, 3.1 back.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I've done that one before. It's good.
You have. Yeah.
And when you do the turnaround, so it's all on the 101 from basically the Encinitas sign on the 101 down
to Cardiff Beach,
almost
South Cardiff Beach.
Yeah, South Cardiff Beach. And when you turn around so the whole first way is like downhill, and then you turn around and you actually have like 3 different parts of this climb to get back up into town. It's really fun. It's fast. So Clark and I will be there spectating.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I know, where is he?
I don't know. I was like, where is he?
And you?
I am training for the San Pasqual trail half marathon. It's a flat marathon with the exception of up and over Raptor Ridge. But even still, I think for the half marathon, like the full elevation is like under 1,000 feet. So that's pretty flat for a trail race.
Did you say what the race is?
San Pasqual half marathon.
And who puts it on?
Endurance Race Series. Yeah. Our friend Jeff Stoner puts on great events here in San Diego. I don't think he has them in Colorado anymore. I think he might have sold them to Aravaipa. I feel like Aravaipa took them over. The ones in Colorado, I'm not sure. But yeah, super cool dude. And he's doing a lot for the trail community here. Actually, he just announced a new race in May. It's at Mission Trails, which if you know Mission Trails is super technical, hard to have a long run there because it's so steep and so technical and so much up and so much down. But he's doing a 25K and a 50K and a 5K there. And it starts at like 5 o'clock at night. So you get daytime, you get nighttime, and there's one aid station, which is so ultra running. Yeah, that seems awesome. So that'll be fun. He puts on good events and I'm excited. I wanted to get some speed and turnover after El Cruce, which was, distance and strength. And so this feels appropriate. And then started back in the pool because I'm going to do Ironman 70.3 Santa Cruz again. I haven't done that since 2019 or 2021, or I don't know. It's been several years, but I'm excited and I'm going to try and break some barriers on the bike, go under 3, and a barrier on the run to go under 2, which I've gone under 2, but I haven't gone under 2 and gone under 3. So we'll see. And the swim's just whatever the swim is. I'll be swim fit and that'll be fine and enjoyable. And then it'll be like just like hammer the bike and then try and run fast after the bike.
Hammer the bike and then see what shows up on the run.
But I'll be appropriately trained
you'll be
to hammer the bike.
Prepared.
Yes, totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we'll see. That should be fun. And it's not like I tried to break 3 hours a couple years ago in Oregon on my other bike. I think I have a faster bike now. But that doesn't mean it's easy. Oregon's a really flat course. This is like rolling, like more like our coast. So, but I got plenty of time to train for that. And I really enjoyed just like training for a big goal, which is what I did last year. So right now that's all I've got on the schedule. Maybe Solana Beach, but I don't know what I'm doing after. I'm leaving my calendar open after the Iceland retreat ends.
Solana Beach.
To maybe go to the Solana Beach sprint. So here are my options. Solana Beach, sprint triathlon,
or
Europe. I think our friend Jennifer is racing an X-Tri in France. That could be fun. Maybe she needs support. I could go to Ireland and see my godson and dear friends from Boulder. So I've got options. Or Solana Beach. I mean, who knows? Who knows?
You know what my decision.
They're all equally amazing
experiences.
So we'll see. I just don't know what that adventure hasn't come clear yet. I haven't really spent any time trying to figure that out. Right now, I'm just keeping it open.
All right. So there's something like what happens when you don't know, when you're not clear on something?
Yeah, you don't make any decisions. You don't make any. Just trust. Like it's gonna come. Like after El Cruce, I could feel something coming. Didn't really know what it was. I could feel it coming. I didn't know when it was going to come. I don't know what it was going to be. I went ahead and made this goal of doing this half marathon and doing Santa Cruz, because answering that question that I answered last year so religiously, like, what's the best thing for my training right now? When I look at myself as an athlete and what I feel like is going to be the best for my development as an athlete, it's going for some speed, to kind of get some turnover and get some speed. So I knew it wasn't going to be like another big, like, physical thing. But then what happened? Oh, somebody that went to Patagonia with me reached out to the travel yogi that I partner with on these yoga adventures and was basically like, I had a blast with Jess. I want to travel with her again, and perhaps in Asia in 2027. So they said, hey, do you want to go to Asia in 2027? And then there it was, Bhutan, which was a seed that was planted a really long time ago by our friend Paul, who had just come back and said, like, you have to go to Bhutan in this life. And so, yeah, that kind of rolled in. But before that, it was just like, okay, I don't know. I just feel like I'm in tune with, I don't know, with like my life and how it feel, and like just moving with it. Not so much of like being like, okay, now I'm home, now I rest, now I do this, now I do that. I don't. I just move with life. I just wake up and I move with life each day. And sometimes I can feel exciting things coming. And I think I could say that every day, because I feel like that's the momentum I've created in my life, and that's going to just continue to come. Great adventures, and that's just like such an essence of who I am. So in the early days of this Bhutan adventure, it's going to be in 2027, and yeah, I'm just waiting to hear on dates. And we had put it out there too through our newsletter list. If you guys aren't on the newsletter list, yeah, definitely join it. We're sharing some inside stories of our life and our struggle and our challenges, because you see us now, and all the rungs on the ladder that got us here is what we're sharing. But that's also where I share things like this. And so we have a small group of people who are really interested in it. And yeah, we're just waiting for the next step, and just, I don't have the answer yet. So now we're on hold.
So what do you do? Yeah, you don't have the answer.
We're on hold, and it's funny because I've had a couple of moments of like, oh, I should email the people who said they were interested to tell them that I'm still waiting. And it's like, no, because I told them that when I have something to share, you will hear from me. And what is that? That's my mind being like, hey, I want to move this thing forward. It's not moving forward. Well, I don't know what the pace of life and time is in Bhutan. I'm sure it's a little bit different than what I'm going to do today. So we're waiting to hear back. And yeah, when you don't have your answer, when you're feeling pressured, when you're feeling confused, where you're ping-ponging back and forth, you don't have an answer. And so calmness is what's going to bring you that clarity. And yeah, it's like, I think the work is just like watching those tendencies to force something along, and also just the inability to sit with uncomfortableness of the unknown, because that's something that's pretty easy to train.
And as you're saying that, I'm thinking, when you're, the benefit that, like, another benefit of just being calm when you make that decision is in that moment you're aligned. And so now you let your yes be yes. You decide, you make the decision, you go for it. Like, you go and see this thing through, because there will be countless moments of resistance, because the mind will fall to what's comfortable when something unknown, as Jess mentioned, pops up there, and the mind doesn't know how to work with the unknown. It actually craves known. And so as you lean into that Bhutan trip, it'll be like, well, what about, there's things that haven't yet been decided yet. And if the mind is running the show, it's going to fill in the future with what you've experienced, or what you have experienced similarly to this experience. It will fill in the blanks. And then you're relying on what has happened in the past and not what could possibly happen in the future. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So as you make a calm, collected decision, like, I'm going to do Ironman 70.3 Santa Cruz, then it's all in. The decision is made. You were calm when you made the decision. Move forward, knowing and expecting that there will be moments of like, should I be doing this? Should I not be doing this? And that's completely normal early on in the stages of working with this, seeing and observing the mind.
Yeah. I also think that when you slow down that internal rhythm through different practices, breath work, meditation, restorative yoga, whatever, but like you really practice moving with life by deepening your relationship at the present moment, you kind of pick up on things in life. Like there's always communication happening. Like there's always things that are available for you to step towards, right? So, for example, I shared this with you, and I hadn't. I don't think I've shared it otherwise. But when I arrived in Argentina, you take a domestic flight into Bariloche. And I got into Bariloche and I got my car and I started driving, and I was driving towards Villa La Angostura where I was staying, and the clouds cleared and I got like the first glimpse of like these high peaks of the Andes. And in that moment, and I just remember it so well, like it was so pretty and the light was so pretty. But in that moment, I had this memory of, and like this real embodied experience of when I was in Dharamsala in India and the clouds cleared and I saw the high peaks of the Himalayas, and you're like, whoa. And I had that same thing, and I thought about the Himalayas in that moment. And I was like, whoa, this feels like, and I'd been in the Andes before, but this was different. Maybe because I was actually going in them and going to be climbing them, or running on them. But in that moment, I was like, I felt really reminiscent of like the Himalayas, and just like how, oh God, like I don't even have a word to describe the experience of seeing those peaks. And I hadn't felt that in so long. And then like a month later, the Bhutan thing comes in, and that's in the Eastern Himalayas. So there they are, but they were already like going, hey, hey, we're going to be calling you soon. And I can't not put those two things together. And I think when you pay attention to the small details of life, man, it's so cool, because you're just like, oh yeah, I was seeing this whole thing kind of unfold along the way. And I think it makes the adventure so much more fun, of course, but because I love to have fun, but like sure-footed. It's not like this Bhutan thing came out of nowhere. Like I was like, oh my God, that's so crazy. I had that moment when I was really reflecting on the Himalayas and being like, I felt their presence again. And there it was.
And you can see this momentum building because you're focused on it.
Yeah, I am. But I've also, I'm not thinking every day, like, is today going to be the day I get the dates? Like, it's today?
It's starting to
it's
pick up versus like just a speck.
No, it's like this, like a nice rhythm that's like super patient. And that's a really nice rhythm of life to tap into when you're looking to, I think, go after big things or do something you've never done before. Not so much up here in the brain, but like really getting into feeling that rhythm of something building is very exciting.
What else does it do? You were going to talk about this, but what else does the feeling of something like that do? It builds what?
Desire,
trust, and confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
Which I think is, especially for athletes, when they're unsure of what the next step to take is, whether it's a race or working through injury.
It's so common. And
like, how do you build that trust?
Yeah, to get here, I had to be there. I had to be like in the, I don't know what decision to make.
But there is not here anymore. That it's already gone. So you were there. You made the decision, now you're here.
No, there meaning like in the decision fatigue. Like, I think as you approach, I don't know, each day in your life with some kind of awakeness, like you just, I don't know, it's that natural part of us that already knows how to move with life with such power and non-resistance, that like that part just starts to come alive more and more. But that's why I think those stories are really cool that we're sharing. And thank you. People have been emailing back and like really appreciating the story. There's a good one going out tomorrow. Well, the last one that we sent out was yours about when you crashed on your bike. And then this week's is going to be my perspective of what happened when I got that text.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool experience.
No, it was terrible. So not cool.
But I look at it as like so much came out of that.
Oh,
that was such a
meaningful part of our life.
There you go. That's what I'm trying to say. Of course, I wish that didn't happen. However,
but
it's
did. Like it kind of like it has to happen. Like it, not that it has to happen, but like life, it can't always feel really good.
No, and you don't know what it's going to look like on the other side.
You don't know how the story is going to end.
You don't know how it's going to end. I can tell you how it's been since, and it's been nothing but, great race performances.
Yeah.
So, you can look at it as, why me? Or you could, which I have been there before in the past. Or you can look at it as like, what is going to come of this? Because this is a very, one would consider a low point. So in order to have the lows, you have to have the high. So at the low, you know that next high is coming, whatever that looks like. Not attaching to it, but knowing and trusting that will happen. And it did. And so I have no evidence of either. I have evidence of both, but I also don't feed any of the mind saying there's like no evidence in this moment right now. I guess I know too much. I've experienced too much to say this is the end. Like I won't be able to run again or.
Yeah. I was just reading in that Florence Scovel Shin book this morning. You don't have the faith of a peasant, she says, which I think is like old world languaging. But like you don't have the faith of a peasant anymore. Like you have a faith of somebody who has trusted life and been tumbled around a little bit and always come out stronger, always come out with everything resolving to good. What?
I'm just thinking of a dryer. Like I was thrown in a dryer. I came out and I smell pretty good. A dryer.
A dryer.
Like washing dryer.
And like you got like cooked in there a little bit.
I did.
Yeah, like that's the refinement. You're being refined.
Like my puffy from a story that Jess shared. Didn't we share that story?
You shared that story last time. Yeah. All right. What are you working like? What's a theme that's coming up with athletes that you're working with, that you're seeing with athletes? What have you been talking a lot about lately?
It's a good question. So many good things.
All right. Well, why don't we move into something else that we know we wanted to talk about? Sure. Risk versus recklessness.
Sure. Yeah. What can you say about it?
No, I want to ask you first. What's the first thing that comes up for you when you think about that? Like risk versus recklessness.
Recklessness is getting a new bike, 2 weeks before an Ironman and expecting nothing to change in your body at all. Everything would be the same. And obviously that's not true. It's a little bit reckless. Risk would be, I'm going to change out these handlebars before the sprint triathlon, and I'm going to see how these feel and work out, and then I'll be able to adjust and fine tune before my race in 3 or 4 months from now. To me, that's a little bit risk and recklessness.
Yeah.
Does that make sense, or is that not on?
No, I like that. I had just been thinking about this risk versus recklessness, and I think it plays into what you were saying earlier about when you decide on something, like just lock into it and stay focused on that. And I think that's what risk requires. When I look at like to piggyback on a little bit of the evolution that we talked about last time of Yogi Triathlete, we kind of joke and use the words like we blew up our life. We walked away from financial security, walked away from family, we walked away from my dad, who had literally just been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease like in March. And we were like, all right, we're leaving. We're going to go move into our car. We're going to head out. And we took a risk. I took a risk of, we took a big risk. But I don't think that risk was reckless, because we spent a lot of time building our foundation and feeling very grounded in this decision before we even told anyone. So we knew we were going to do this in like December of 2015, and we didn't tell anyone until it was Easter with my family, which was April. And so because we didn't know how people were going to respond, I would say 99% of the people responded with just like, this is amazing. You guys are going to do great. Like, go have an adventure. We're going to miss you, but this is incredible. Then there was like 1% of like, you're probably going to get killed. Your car's going to break down. You're going to be robbed. You're going to, fail miserably, things like that. But I feel like the risk was backed with like focus, because we had been training our minds for several years and had like a big boatload of will that we could place onto faith, that we were following this calling, that we didn't really understand the full articulation of how it was going to come into form. And I feel like just now, 10 years in, with our one-on-one coaching, our yoga adventures and endurance squad, it's like, oh my gosh, okay, now we've honed in. 10 years to hone in. And that was so much focus. And we took risk because we walked away from steady paychecks. We walked away from a year from you being fully vested in your company and employee stocks. And so, but I don't feel like it was reckless. And so reckless to me is taking a risk without backing that risk up with focus and showing up for what it requires. Because when you take risk, you're going to have feelings of fear and being scared about what you're stepping into. That's fine. We had fear every single day, and we would wake up and we would say, all channels open. All channels open. Remember? All channels open. And that just felt so good. I mean, there were times we didn't know where we were going to sleep at night. And then like this hotel would come out of nowhere, like at the perfect price, And I think even to say like, oh, well, it was a calculated risk, even to say like a calculated risk, it's like, I think risk requires calculation. And to say that it's a calculated risk is saying that there's a kind of risk that is reckless. I think that recklessness is something totally different. And we've actually seen some people do some reckless things where we're like, oh, and they're like, yeah, but you said everything's possible. I'm like, yeah, but you still live in this physical world where you need to pay taxes and you need to have car insurance and you need to have those things. So it's living in the world, but not of it, right? It's like, it's living in your limitlessness and your big goals and your dreams. And then it's like grounded in the physical world and using your will and determination and your focus and your power of choice to drive yourself forward while respecting the laws of this world that we live in. That's kind of my little riff on it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with it all. I think I forgot that all channels open. I think when you do take risk like that or recklessness like that, fear will jump in. And if you're unable to manage that fear or at least get to know it, then you're gonna turn back and you're gonna struggle a bit. And I can remember times that I struggled a bit when I just wasn't ready to make the leap. Like when I was leaving the job and I had to get another job because I just was like, I just need to work, like have some sort of security.
So that was when we were still living in Newport and you were quitting your full-time job. Yeah.
I went to more of a part-time, full-time job. And even when we got here, getting a part-time job.
It was helpful though. It did pay the rent for a little bit.
Until, that was a good, until I kept doing that, driving 45 minutes each way, 4 times a week, until it didn't feel like this is a good way to make a decision, until it just didn't feel good anymore. And then make a choice, make a decision, and then go all in with it. And yes, we did miss that income.
That income paid our rent.
Which was awesome.
And then it didn't. But that was another big risk within a big risk. And I remember that being like, you were like, I'm sitting in traffic. Like, I don't want to do this. And It was so hard for me, but I was like, quit, like, just let it go. Let's go all in. Like let's keep moving forward. Let's keep doing faith. Like we still had some money in our bank account from the sale of our house. And it's also like being willing to do what it takes to fulfill whatever that dream is that you're pursuing. Like the bigger it is, the more it's going to ask of you, I promise. But it's so rewarding. It really is. Like then we would just get like this one little note from somebody saying like, I listened to the podcast or I don't know, something.
Went to your yoga class.
Yeah. And it's like, somewhere. And then I made a choice and now I'm going to go after this thing. And it's like, we get these little emails and it would be like such a state of like not good with like momentum. And we would just like, we'd be like, okay, that's fuel. That's evidence. Keep going, keep going, keep going.
The currency may look a little wonky at first. Like when we get a message, I usually get these, like, I listen to I listen to your race day preparation meditation and it's still up there. And random people every so often will mention that they've been listening to it. And we're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that thing that you created years ago.
Is that for Lake Placid?
Yeah.
And it's not even for the course that's there now. It's like, it's a different course. They've changed the course a little bit. But yeah, it's funny that people still find, I think it's buried somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't
somewhere
know.
Out there. But anyway, that stuff is really what
kept us going.
And keeps us going.
Yeah. If you were one of those people that were like, can I send $25 to your Venmo? Or thank you so much for this episode. Like you're the reason why we're here.
So celebrating 10 years and 461, this will be 461 podcast. Like if there's anybody listening to this right now and has a story or a moment that the podcast has influenced your life, or maybe have set you or someone you know in a direction that was a big major shift, like let us know. Reach out to us. You can just message us, email us, hit us up on social media. We just want to hear from you the impact, if any, of what a Yogi Triathlete has done for you or someone you know over the past 10 years. We came in contact with a lot of people, especially when we went back to our community in Newport. We definitely rekindled some old friendships and connections, but also that 6 months that we were on the road, we met so many people at the campground, at races. We volunteered at that race in Ithaca, New York. And so many people have met Clark. And if anything like comes to top of mind, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
How does risk versus recklessness like play into, well, I know it plays in, but like we're looking at like injury, coming back from injury, because there's this phase where like you got to start learning how to trust the body, give the body opportunity to show up and show you that it's healed.
Yeah, I work with athletes a lot on this, and myself, and knowing when too much is too much, because we're all motivated to do more. I mean, I think that's, for most of us, that's our natural state. Like more is better. So more. In the return from injury, or as we like to say, sensation in the body, it's good to just dip your toes slightly into moving forward, understanding that you may not be 100% of yourself when you start this return, because movement and mobility and taking steps forward is going to create momentum slowly if you do it carefully. So how do you know what is carefully? It depends. It depends on the athlete, depends on what they're coming back from. Most often, I see it in running. They're unable to run, whether it's a hip, nerve sensation, sciatica, foot, plantar fasciitis, knee, whatever it is. Coming back from running, hands down, it's walking first. If you can walk first, great. Then when you feel comfortable there, you walk away with like no further sensation. Then you can start incorporating 10 to 15 seconds worth of running at a time on like 2 or 3 minutes walking rest. And the mind will immediately go to like, no, I want to do like a minute or 5 minutes of running. You'll get there. And why don't you just act like it already happened, or it already going to happen, and just dive into the 15 seconds and watch the mind really work with like, is this enough? Is this enough? Will I get back there quicker? I can tell you the sure way of not getting back quicker is to overextend too soon. So
that's the recklessness.
Yes.
Like not having the management over the impulse and the impatience to like to get back. And so then there's like, you're trying to skip rungs on the ladder because you're just like, oh my God, I'm going stir crazy. That would be,
well, that's it.
So it's really like, I think risk versus recklessness, this is just kind of coming to me. It's like the discernment piece is like kind of the intent from which you're moving. Are you moving with intention? Are you moving with focus? Are you moving with determination? Or are you moving because you're going stir crazy? Are you moving because you're just so sick of being injured? Or you're just like so angry at the job that you just, blow it all up, and then you're like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying you need to have like this big laid out plan. A lot of risk is trust. But I think recklessness is going into risk without nurturing trust. And so where can you nurture trust in your life in different areas that is risk-free? And then that will help build into bigger things like coming back from injury, learning how to trust the body again, because there's this other thing that happens that I started to get curious about. And then I actually got online and started doing some research on it and found out that it was true. That when we wait too long to come back, when we're waiting for like full pain-free 100%, a lot of times that doesn't happen because part of when we're injured, we take time off, things get stiff, things get settled. And so you're going to feel sensation as you're coming back. But some people will wait almost like quote unquote too long. And what happens when we do that is we actually train our nervous system to see the movement that we are working to get back to as a threat when we wait too long. And then it becomes even harder to come back. It's pretty wild. It's a little bit like the upper limit problem.
It sounds like, bike crash stuff. Like if you wait too long to get back on the bike because you're waiting for something, I have firsthand experience with that.
Yeah.
My goal was to get right back on the bike as soon as I could, to kind of like not let that. And I guess that's subconsciously what I was thinking of, is like, I don't want to get to the point where I don't want to get back on the bike. Although that really never appeared.
And I think that you're backed, like you have a backing of mindset work that allowed you to get into that.
That's true.
So I'm a big proponent of like exposure therapy. When I work with people who have crashed on the bike, I figure out where they are in our sessions, and then we start moving into that exposure therapy. But we're not moving into that getting back on the bike, the very thing that is the threat, the very thing that we're like wanting to get back on, but like can't get back on. We're not doing that without having a backing of practice and awareness, so that exposure is actually moving us forward as opposed to traumatizing us more. Right. Yeah. And I think that can be really reckless to do it that way. Like, I just got to get back on. You're pushing through. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. That's right up there with waiting too long. You'll train yourself even more so to see that as a threat. That's just I don't know. I don't like that point of attraction. So, but when you step back into it, anytime we get on a bike, it's a risk. But when you step back into it with tools, with skills, with awareness, with support, like, it can really get you back very quick.
And having a coach, when you were talking about examples, like working with athletes, the ones that, communicate like daily, and I'm able to see what's going on and where not with the valleys, but where things start to dip a little bit, you can adjust on the fly. And then you're actually helping them move more quickly along in this injury recovery process, or whatever opportunity that they're working through, a little bit more quicker. Because again, they have the support, and then they have that confidence knowing that anything is flexible and fluid. Like being so rigid about the return is probably going to cause some suffering when expectations are not met. And so, something like the kook run coming up for me, and trying to chase a result versus showing up as healthy and as happy as I can be at that start line is the fast track to a great performance. Because if you're not healthy and happy at the start line, you may have chased down a little bit recklessly the pace that you want to hold, and then show up on race day and have some sort of sensation or something in the body. Speaking of this from real world experience, it has taken a lot to just trust that whatever shows up on race day is the best that I can in this build. Not trying to chase down paces that are, I would love to hit.
But if you look at your watch, and you're like off pace, you'd use that to your advantage.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. But not at the extent of like, am I going to show up? It's just going to put me a little bit further back on showing up that start line. Like a little bit like this might set me back a few days, like overreaching.
And that's a choice. I've done that.
Right. This is what I'm saying. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, there's
I've
always
done
a choice
that.
there.
Ended up in a boot for 8 weeks.
It's good to bounce it off a coach.
But I don't think I would have done it any different.
No. And
I wanted to find out. I figured if it was broken, it was broken. And what's another half marathon going to do?
So the key there is like,
broken.
Let your personality rise and shine, and not attached to what happens on the other side of it. So if you get all like, I shouldn't have. No, this is celebrate who you are.
Yes.
Maybe you'll learn from, maybe you won't, but you're being who you are. And any attachment to the expectations of things is only going to cause suffering when it doesn't happen.
I like that. Be who you are.
Be who you are.
But, also I have, that was a long time ago that I did that. I don't think I would do that now. Because I was going to say, but I had like discernment. No, I didn't. I was just like, totally going to do the race. I don't care. And my foot's broken. I'll find out. It was.
Oh, recklessness versus
that was reckless.
The Kona story.
Yes.
That was risk.
That was risk.
It wasn't recklessness.
And
it was a 3-week practice in knowing exactly what I was getting into and willing to embrace anything that came out of it.
Yes. Yeah. And even as it was unfolding, you were making decisions. You were just like you were on the run portion, just being like, I don't know. I just can't stop. I feel like this is really important. I got to keep going. So yeah. And I think that the risk of us like never canceling the trip, we never even considered canceling the trip because we were like, well, if you're going to be healing and you can't race, we might as well be in paradise in your most favorite place with the most favorite event of your life there. Like, and let's heal there. But I think that was a big thing. Of course, we're risking spending all this money to go on the trip, blah, 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 blah. But we just kept moving forward. And I think you were okay with because you pushed through some stuff on that 8-hour marathon walk. I think that you were okay with whatever the consequence was on the other side of that because the purpose that you felt that day was so strong that you didn't cower back and say I might actually be more banged up because of this. But as a matter of fact, you were actually better on the other side. Wasn't that weird?
It was
not weird.
No,
because I've seen everything but you were actually better on the other side of that finish line.
Yeah. So number one was just to get in the water and start. That was everything. And then this belief that has formed over the years from leaning into risk versus recklessness is that I know that when I do big things like this, most often on the other side, it's like a clearing or cleansing happens. And that could just be a belief. That could just be what's in my mind. And when I get to the other side of it, I am very rarely worse. I am most often the same or better when I come out of these experiences. And for me, that's like the launching pad for momentum to take me to that next big, great performance or outcome. It just has happened too much now. And the belief is now shifted into doing that more often. I trust that we will be provided for exactly what we need.
Yeah, I like that.
But that's a belief that was formed over time.
Yeah.
And continues to form. Just like you have a belief that you're going to go to Bhutan. It's going to be like this epic adventure. And it's not like Bhutan and then, Bhutan and then done. It's like, well, what's next after that?
What's next?
Yeah. That's how this whole.
So excited. Croatia looks pretty good.
So you can't skip any rung of the ladder.
You can't skip any rungs on the ladder.
When you have moments of I want to go here, but it's not time yet. Or man, this person just signed up for the trip and now we only have 2 rooms left and I need to get these 2 rooms. This is all part of, these are all steps along the ladder to get you to that place where you want to go. No shortcuts. No hacks.
No, but the funny thing is that as you go okay, what's the next logical step? And that was what we did when we left Newport and ended up out here. We were always okay, we blew up our life. We walked away from all this money. My dad just got diagnosed with this disease that's going to kill him. Okay, well, now we're in the middle of nowhere and we're 3 months into this trip, all channels open. And what's the next logical step? Okay, we need dinner. Let's go get dinner.
Because we didn't.
And that's how we did it.
We didn't have a cooler with us.
And we didn't have a cooler with us.
It's so.
Because we didn't have room.
There's other things that we
were
would
living
do,
in a Honda Fit.
And we should have gotten a.
Because we were living
van.
in the smallest car ever.
But we learned. We learn.
It's funny how when people hear that story that didn't know us, they're like, "Oh, that's so cool!" And you guys were did van life? We're no, we had a Honda Fit. They're yeah, van life. It's almost like people they can't comprehend. They don't want to look at the fact that we were living in a Honda Fit
with a 10 by 10 square foot tent that we could camp in. But yes, we were in a Honda Fit and everything. I mean, a lot of times we had to unpack, or I had to unpack and take things off the roof. Twice every time we stopped.
Yeah.
Take it off, put it back on. We can talk about that trip.
But yeah, it's
go back into the archives.
What's the next logical step?
Yeah.
And that's where you really start to merge intuition with logic and really kind of blows open your scope.
So watch that story in your mind as you return. Let's keep using the return from running, that this is how you've done it in the past. What's the next logical step for you right now? What happened in the past? Great. That was great then. Right now, what's the next logical step? I need to go out and just test out running today. 15 seconds. You do that 4 or 5 times. Fantastic. Awesome. No pain. Great. Call it there. Walk a little bit more and then win the session, win the day. And now guess what? You get to do it again tomorrow or the day after. And that's how you start building momentum.
And giving yourself like a wide berth. You know, if you're coming back from something and you have a race in April and you think about that race and it creates tension, like, okay, couple different ways you can go. One, you could move it to a later race. I would say the first thing you want to do is you want to work with that tension. You want to work with relaxing that rhythm and keep moving forward, keep moving forward, keep moving forward, keep moving forward kind of thing. And when you do want to train for something, if you're like, I really want to do an Ironman, but like, I got to get this like hip thing squared away first, like give yourself, like, maybe it's not this year, maybe it's next year. And you're just like, you're focused on that recovery and taking the next logical step and getting that foundation back so that when you jump into whatever this next big thing is, it's not reckless. You're going in with a risk, and risk always, I think it always pays off with a very enriching experience, whatever the outcome of it is. And isn't that like, I don't know. I want to continue to live within this like richness of life, and moving with it is what brings that ease and that flow, and ease and flow also bring your best performances.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. Team races this year.
Oceanside. It's okay if you didn't sign up. It's sold out. That's okay. You can come spectate, cheer on. We're going to be training all week at Ironman 70.3 Oceanside. It is March 28th. It's a Saturday race. That whole week before, we're going to be swimming, biking, and running up here in Carlsbad and on the run course in Oceanside. So come out, just be a part of that. We are doing Ironman 70.3 Santa Cruz, September 12th. That is a team adventure now that Jess has thrown her hat into the ring. So we have some people signed up for that, which is pretty cool. I mean, I'm racing Lake Placid. I would love to see more people there. So if you're interested in, have been considering Ironman Lake Placid because it's just the best course on the circuit, and you're looking for coaching or you're looking for a training plan, like reach out to us. Endurance Squad is perfect for those that aren't quite ready for the one-on-one experience, but want some training specific to a course. We'll create a 12 or 16 week Ironman Lake Placid training plan specific to that course, one that I know so well and have done really well at. Jess has done it twice. We'd love to go and go this year and see some of you out there. So reach out to us if that is of interest to you.
I think it is definitely the best in the US. It's the best course in the US.
It's absolutely the best course.
Yeah.
I've done most of the races
question.
here. It is by far, even the changes they recently made.
And then we'll probably have a presence at La Quinta, or is it not La Quinta?
Oh, Ironman 70.3 La Quinta. Yep. There's some momentum building there so we can finish the season. So all the California races, how cool is that? Except for one. We're missing one.
Solana Beach.
No. Oh, the new one up in Northern California.
Oh,
really
Redding.
hot. Redding.
Yes. It's going to be really hot.
I've never been there. See, I've never been there, and I've just
know.
heard somebody say it's going to be really hot.
That's like, you're spreading the rumors.
I used to spread rumors about Oceanside, how it was so cold when we lived back east, and now it is awesome. It is like the
now
perfect...
you coach people to deal with the cold.
I do.
Yeah.
And I coach myself too as well.
Yeah. Right.
And then we'll be at Solana Beach.
Maybe.
And maybe at Mission Bay.
I might be in the south of France. We shall see. I don't know. I don't know yet. I don't have the clarity, so I keep it open. And then it'll come at some point. It'll come.
Cool.
All right.
Thanks, guys, for listening, tuning in. If you have questions, comments, please let us know. We love what we do, and we would love to welcome you into the community firsthand in either Endurance Squad or one-on-one. Maybe we'll see you over there.
Bye.
Bye.
If you're enjoying the Yogi Triathlete podcast, you'll love our other show, Awake Athlete. 5 complete seasons, short, potent, no surface chatter episodes to train the mind like you train the body. Season 6 is live now. Search for Awake Athlete wherever you get your podcasts and start listening today.